Welcome back to my 100-day drawing challenge 2020. Today is day number 7 and the prompt is primary colours. So admittedly, this is another redraw of last year. I know I said that I didn't want to do many redraws this year. I wanted to try and come up with new and unique ideas for every single prompt, but I've ended up doing a few redraws. That bouquet prompt, I ended up doing a redraw of the 2018 one. Ice cream prompt was kind of inspired by last year and 2018. And this one, again, I've ended up doing one that was inspired by last year and 2018. I'm sorry. I promise that I'll try to stop doing redraws and I'll try and come up with some unique ideas soon. I promise. And I pretty much redrew the same character. I did change up the overall composition of the image and gave it a little bit extra something, which I'm really happy about, but the actual character herself is pretty much a redraw of the previous 2 years, which I actually think is really cool. Even though I said I wanted to stay away from doing redraws as best as possible, I actually do think it's really cool to have a side-by-side comparison from each of the years to really see if my art has improved. So I changed up the pose of the character a little bit just to make it a little bit more interesting. So I actually had her opposite hand on her hip from last year and I had her other arm completely visible. She's like posing a little bit more dramatically than the previous 2 years. I'm definitely still making things very cartoony. Yesterday's prompt, ice cream, I made the character incredibly exaggerated and cartoony, and I think I'm still trying to incorporate that into this illustration as well because I made her eyes really big. I gave her kind of exaggerated proportions and I think it looks really cute, honestly. I gave her the same little hair accessories that I did last year. I also had to do a little bit of a simple background to this one as well, so I put a box in the background and drew all of these like shapes, these like geometric shapes floating around her. I don't know why geometric shapes is what I think of when I think of primary colours, but I just feel like the two go together. I think it looks cute and it just added this extra little something to the background. So for the previous 2 years I tried to keep the primary colours to red, yellow and blue, and I actually explained last year that I kind of liked the idea of using red, yellow and blue despite the fact that the kind of quote-unquote true primary colours are cyan, magenta and yellow. So this year when I was picking my markers out, I picked out a really nice bright blue colour and a really nice primary yellow colour, and the names of the markers were cyan and yellow, so I decided why not just go all the way and use magenta as well. I don't know why I was so attached to using red. Maybe it's just because I don't use red in my illustrations very often, but as soon as I saw that the 2 markers I'd picked for yellow and blue were yellow and cyan, I was like, why not just use magenta as well? Why not go for it? So this one, the colour scheme turned out a little bit different, and I think it looks really cute. I love cyan, magenta and yellow colour schemes, so I was very happy to be using that colour scheme. I did a lot of umming and ahhing over what colour to use for the background. I didn't know whether to use a pale blue or a completely different colour, but I settled on a pale yellow and I coloured those little shapes in the background. I actually didn't intend for the shapes to overlap each other at first. I was going to have like one shape in front of another shape. When colouring, I ended up going over the lines a little bit anyway, so I just decided to go all the way and colour both colours in the space that they overlap, kind of like a Venn diagram of shapes, I guess. But I actually really liked the way that looked because the theme is primary colours, and I don't know why I haven't thought of this sooner, but I mean the whole point of the primary colours is that they mix to make other colours, and so they're kind of the basis of all colours. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm making sense. So having those shapes overlap in the background and kind of mix to make orange, purple and green, I thought was a really cool idea. I wish I'd gone all the way with that. I wish I could have thought of that sooner so that I could have planned out an illustration that really highlighted that more. So it was kind of a happy accident, I don't know. That's all for today. If you're interested, there's a link to the full challenge playlist on screen and in the description. Subscribe if you'd like to keep up with me completing this challenge, and I'll see you tomorrow for another prompt. Take care.